Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Thursday, October 20th and Friday, October 21st, 2016. Hope you're having a good week. It's been very slow. Slowest week of the year as far as I'm concerned from a trading perspective. We do a combined preview for Thursday and Friday. Don't usually do previews just for Friday because most of the week is played out, and certainly this feels like a week that's played out already, and Friday's options expiration on top of it, so it should just be a waste. If there's any chance left in the week, obviously it's Thursday. So we'll just take a look at where we're at in the markets and go from there. Here's the ES front month futures contract, daily chart of the S&P 500 in futures form, the proper technical way to look at the market, and nothing new at all. Still sitting right where we've been, literally down about 20 points from the beginning of, or right on the beginning of July, and now we're in October. So it's been very flat. Let's go back and look at some prior years just for fun. Remember, look at last year, the August, September, October period. All very exciting, even though July was kind of flat. You go back to the year before that, a lot of movement in July and August. That was an election, a midterm election year, July and August, September, October, into November, going back to 2013. Even wasn't that exciting, but at least a little bit better action overall. 100-point swings back and forth on the S&P. And you look at this year, and we're sitting in, what is it now? Basically let's call it about a 60-point range for 4 months. Yeah, not the best trading environment we've ever seen. Let's go through the other majors. Let's see, crude oil gained $1.30 back to 51.60. There is a cup and handle ready for a breakout on crude oil. Gold up $7.40. S&P cash gains 469, right on the 10-day moving average, which is, of course, pretty flat when the market's that flat. NDX just lost 3, which is a blip. Stocks just lost 3, also a blip. Biotech's back down 22. This is the part that's hurting the market a little bit because as go banks and biotech, so goes the market, as you know, and we have sold off over the last month if there's been any action. It's in the bios. VIX loses 87 cents down to 1441. Trin gets another low reading of 0.76, but as I said yesterday, the numbers that are dropping off the 10-day moving average were also pretty low like this, so it's not bringing down the moving average right now. It'll be another couple of days before we lose a number over 1 in the moving average. So remember, that's important because if the moving average gets, the 10-day moving average gets to 0.85 or less, that's usually a sell signal on the market. NASDAQ volume 1.3, well, it shows 1.4 here, but it was really 1.3 at the close. And keep in mind, Intel released earnings. We are in core earnings season, and Intel did 74 million shares when it usually does 20 million. So, that's an extra 50 million plus shares on Intel for the session. And when you look at it that way, and then you look at the volume, you're right back down in that 1.3 anyways. So it was a light volume day. Advanced decliners on the NASDAQ plus 572. Advanced decliners on the New York plus 1225. Google, again, on the rise as they're about to release their first ever pure Google phones. Mine arrives tomorrow. Up $5.60 to a new closing high. Apple down 35 cents after being a little bit lower. Amazon gains 4 cents. Netflix up $3. And that's about it. We'll take a quick look at Tesla while we're at it. There you go. All right, so that's up $4, by the way. Double bottom forming in Tesla. Let's look at the intraday action, 5-minute candles. Here's the ES. So you got a little tiny gap up. We filled it. An hour later, we were nowhere. Finally got a little push up, and then that's basically the whole day. Closed right on the VWAP. NASDAQ side is actually worse, believe it or not. Look at that. That's about as narrow as the NASDAQ's been in a long time. Those first hour, which is painful, and it really didn't get any better. The value area tomorrow here is going to be tiny. For the NASDAQ value area, I bet it's going to be 6 points, 5 points, something like that. That's almost unheard of. All right, so what do we have left for data this week? And by the way, did we get an options unraveling move? Doesn't really look like it, right? Usually if you go from the first hour, well, we were just where we opened, and then we went up a little bit on the broad market here after that, but held. But, if that was an options unraveling move, there wasn't much to unravel. Here's a look at, at any rate, the data that's left this week. So we've got, on Thursday, we've still got some data. We've got the leading indicators in Philly Fed and continuing and initial jobless claims. That's the weekly numbers. That's an hour before the bell. Existing home sales and leading indicators 30 minutes into the market. Natty gas inventories an hour into the market. So none of that. Some leading indicators can move the market. Obviously, the weekly jobless claims numbers. Not really expecting any surprises there right now. And that's it. There's no data on Friday. It's just options expiration. So Friday is really most likely going to be a dull day. We're in the middle of the core earnings season. Microsoft does report Thursday. Usually that would be the end, but more stocks reporting this week, almost none last week, quite a few next week. So we really had to shift the core 8 days of earnings. And that's it. I mean, we need to get some volume back here to get some movement. We'll see what happens. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Thursday, Friday, and a good weekend.